Dear friends, welcome to the Wednesday Word on Wednesday the 17th of September. This is the third of my sabbatical reflections. On the 24th of May, after the Keswick leadership course, I drove up to Ballachulish on the shores of Loch Linnhe to visit cousins who have lived there for many years. It's a place that we often visited on family holidays when I was a teenager. It was wonderful to reconnect. One of my cousins was over from Australia, and to reminisce about so many happy times spent in this beautiful part of Scotland. But it was also a poignant visit, bringing back memories of my parents and my brother, all of whom have now died and who loved that place deeply. From Ballachulish, I travelled further north to Uig on the Isle of Skye and took the ferry to Tarbert on the Isle of Harris. My destination was the Isle of Scottisay, a tiny Hebridean island, no more than a mile square, where my old school friend Fred lives off-grid for most of the year. About a decade ago, Fred inherited the much larger neighbouring island of Scalpay from his father, but he chose to return it to the 500 or so islanders who live there. Having sold his 2 restaurants in London, he now devotes his time to running boat trips to St Kilda and the Sheant Islands, and to building marinas on Scalpay and in Tarbert to support the growing yachting community. We hadn't seen each other for over 30 years and were slightly apprehensive as to how we'd get on, but there was no need for concern. We reconnected almost immediately. I had last visited Scottisay in August 1980 when we were still at school, and Fred had invited me to spend a week there with his family. Apart from a now much more spacious and well-equipped house, the island has changed very little. We spent a glorious day exploring the spectacular beaches of West Harris, and Fred, who is now an excellent chef, treated me to wonderful meals. Fred isn't a Christian, but we had some deep and honest conversations about faith, family, friendships, and what really matters in life. It was a joy to rekindle our friendship, and we both left determined not to let another 30 years go on before we meet again. My time in Scotland richly fed my intimacy with others and with the glories of creation. On Thursday the 29th of May, I was back in time to celebrate Nicola's parents' 70th wedding anniversary, their platinum, a remarkable milestone that we marked with a joyful lunch at the Fox pub outside Burford, and which the King and Queen also marked with a congratulatory card from the palace. Both of Nicola's brothers and their wives were there, along with Nicola's brothers' 3 siblings and their spouses. Once again, I felt deeply blessed to have married into such a loving and faithful Christian family, and even more so now that all of my family are with the Lord. May God bless you today.